Hi, I'm Phyllis and my website is southernfrugal.com. Well, you can see what happened. Look at that. Pretty bad, right? I wanted to explain what happened because I want to be able to continue doing videos, but I don't want to just really scare somebody. I think I can use some concealer and take care of that. Here's what happened. It was this Sunday morning. We were getting ready to go to church, and I had some congestion in my nose from taking the flu shot this year. We took the senior kind, which is kind of a double strength flu shot. First time I ever got one. And my nose got really stopped up. So I blew my nose a whole bunch. It stopped up my ears. So I came downstairs, got to the bottom of the stairs, and vertigo happened. It was like the floor wasn't there. That's what it seemed like. So I tried to catch myself, and that was the mistake I made. I should have gone ahead and let myself fall. I would have fallen on the rug. It's got a pad under it. I probably wouldn't have even been hurt. But instead, I tried to catch myself, and I actually propelled myself horizontally into a door. That's where this came from. I also got one over here. This was from the door facing. I just went into the corner of it, kind of, and all trying to keep from falling. And I tried to reach for the doorknob and missed by just a couple of inches and fell. So I was really pretty much, I propelled myself into the door horizontally at that point. So anyway, I had my arm out, and I won't show y'all that, but I had to have stitches. It just cut the skin on the door now because we've got those, we're in an older home, and we've got those 6-panel heart pine doors, and the little edge on each panel is pretty sharp, and it just sliced my elbow right down to the bone, so I had to have stitches there. I won't show y'all that. Took a big hunk of meat out of the side of my hand, and of course my head hit flat, my forehead, up against that wood. Now, I don't know if y'all are familiar with heart pine, but when it gets old, it's like steel. It is really super hard. So that's what I hit along the bottom of the door. And it hit so hard that Mr. Bucky thought something had fallen upstairs. He thought a piece of furniture must have fallen on the floor. It was so loud. He had that door closed. Now, Mr. Bucky always gets up before me and fixes the coffee because I'm not a morning person, and he is. So anyway, he couldn't figure out what had made that loud noise. Well, that was my head hitting the door. So anyway, obviously we couldn't go to church at that point, and I didn't really want to go to the emergency room. I didn't, because you can't see your elbow, right? So I didn't realize how deep it was cut. It was kind of hurting a little bit, and bleeding right much, but I thought it was just a scratch, right? So he kept saying, I think we need to go to the emergency room, because my head already had a big knot on it all the way across, starting right there all the way across. I mean, it really stuck out. And I also had a knot over here. Of course, they're mostly gone now. This is still swollen a little bit. Now, my eyes, can y'all see my eye, how dark it is in there? Well, the doctor said that both eyes would be that way. I don't see that happening over here, but it's sure happening here. And this little thing is growing by the hour. When I got up this morning, it was way up here, and it's just continuing to grow. Anyway, so he said, no, we're going to the emergency room, because I went and looked at this in the mirror in the bathroom, and I knew it was going to have stitches, and sure enough, it did. So anyway, we spent all of Sunday morning into the afternoon at the emergency room, and they ran a lot of tests. I guess they have to do that when you have a head injury. So they did a CT, they did x-rays, and by the way, they x-rayed my arm multiple times here, all the way down, then I had to turn it like that and keep going. They just kept x-raying. because they thought I had broken my hand over here because it was really hurting. Didn't hurt to start with, but after a couple hours it was really hurting. My hand swelled up, so I sprang my wrist, sprang both index fingers and my big toe. I don't even know how that happened, but I sprang my big toe. So the swelling went down in my hand, and I got to where I could use my fingers with no problem just after a couple of days. But anyway, that's what happened. So I'm trying to figure out now, how am I going to do any videos like this? So I'm hoping I've got some concealer stuff that I can maybe do that. I mean, my eye's really not swollen. The next morning, both eyes were major swollen. I look like you see a boxer after a fight, how they're all swollen. That's what this looked like then. So anyway, I have had vertigo one other time in my life, and that time I never threw up, but I was really sick on my stomach, and they gave us little pills, and I never had it again until this past Sunday morning. And it didn't happen until I was blowing my nose really hard because, I mean, we were getting ready to go to church. I didn't want my nose all stopped up, and it just stopped up my ears. Then I came on downstairs. When I got to the bottom of the steps is when the vertigo happened again. And of course, it hadn't happened since. I'm sure it had to do with all my blowing my nose like I did. But anyway, I have learned a lesson. If you start to fall, just go ahead and fall. Don't be trying to grab a hold of something or brace yourself. Just kind of roll with it. Had I done that, I wouldn't have been injured at all. I mean, I would have landed on the rug. I might have gotten bruised, but I certainly wouldn't have done this. Yeah. So anyway, that's a lesson in how not to fall. Don't be grabbing like I got a hold of the desk chair that's in there, but I quickly let it go because the chair was coming over with me, and I figured that's going to hurt me. And all this is happening in a flash. And the next thing I thought was get a hold of the doorknob. I missed. If I hadn't missed, none of this would have happened. But anyway, so the headaches have gone, except when I bend way over, like to do with the dogs or something, or pick up a pair of shoes, it hurts right up in here. I'm sure that's to do with my sinuses. But anyway, I've already been back, and they had to look at me again and check this out, make sure I didn't have any infection there. And so I went yesterday, and they said everything was fine. And I forget what else. Oh, they did blood work. Whole bunch of blood work. And the doctor came in and he said, "You've got great blood." I don't know what that meant, but I would have to attribute some of that must be to do with the green smoothies because he was real impressed with my blood. So anyway, I asked him, I said, "Why are we having to have all these tests? I mean, I can understand the CT scan, but doing the arm, every x-ray imaginable and turning it, and my fingers, everything, chest x-ray." And he said, and this was Dr. Weinstein, and when I asked him that, he said, the first thing we do is eliminate stuff. So of course they put me on a heart monitor too. And he said, "We want to eliminate a heart attack." And I said, "I'm just real sure I didn't have a heart attack." He said, "Well, we're going to check anyway." They did, and make sure I didn't have high blood pressure. And what they were really doing was searching for why did I fall. And so at the end, they didn't know. None of those things. I don't have high blood pressure. I didn't have a heart attack. I didn't have a stroke. I just fell, and they kept asking me over and over, "Did you pass out?" No, I never passed out. I didn't. I remember every detail of it. It's like a fall in slow motion, you know. And so anyway, they were fine with that then, and we got released. But I'm still taking antibiotics. And y'all, I know all y'all know what I'm talking. When you take antibiotics, you feel terrible. And I was sore from the fall. But the antibiotics made it worse because it was also making me feel really bad. Even when I was just sitting in a chair, I was feeling bad. So I've only got one more day on the antibiotics, and I go back, let's see, Saturday morning, so they can remove the stitches here. And I actually could remove them myself, but Mr. Bucky said no, because if you missed a part of one of them, you'd still have to go in. So we're going to do that Saturday morning. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make some videos just like I had planned, but I'm going to try to put concealer on that. This one up here, it actually looks, I don't know if it shows up on the camera, but it looks kind of green. The doctor said I was going to have 2 black eyes. He was sure of it, but so far, I don't see that happening so much on this side. In fact, I don't see it at all. I do see some dark over there. But this one, he says all this blood that's accumulating there has to go somewhere, and the only place it can go is to my eyes. So hopefully I won't get one on this side too, because this was pretty far over. But anyway, I know I look terrible. It looks, I can't even stand to look in the mirror myself. So I know people don't like to look at me. And I know they think I was in an automobile accident or something, or my husband beats me and something, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and make videos. I'm going to put some concealer on this. I think it's going to be kind of hard to hide that because that's almost black. It looks like an extra eyebrow up there. Anyway, we're just going to go forward. So, again, my problem was I tried to catch myself to prevent falling. And that really is what caused all the problem, because with vertigo, oh, I forgot to tell you this. So hit my head, bam, real loud noise, realized my arm was bleeding, but of course I couldn't see my elbow there because you can't see your own elbow. I just knew it was coming. I figured I just scraped the elbow. And so Mr. Bucky comes rushing over and opens the door, the one that I just hit, and the dogs come and start jumping all over me. I couldn't believe it, especially Steely, just woo, 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 trying to figure out what was wrong, I guess. And then I realized I was so nauseated. Oh, it was just like instant nausea. And I told Mr. Buck, I said, I am very nauseated. He said, we're going to the hospital right now. And I know that's one of the signs of a concussion. Yeah. And so the doctor said I had 2, one there and one there. Now, I always thought a concussion was a bleed inside your brain. But Dr. Weinstein said, no, it's anytime you hit your head and you get this kind of mark. I didn't know that. So anyway, that's what happened. And we were home on Sunday by, I guess, about 3 o'clock. Because, they had carryovers in the emergency room from all the people partying and all that on Saturday night. So it took a while, but it also took a while because they were doing so many tests. And determined that, I didn't have a brain bleed, and I had not broken anything in my arm. Now, I did skin my knees up. I don't even know how I did that. That part I don't remember, but I got like a carpet burn kind of thing, only I was on the actual floor. See, if I had just fallen on the rug, go ahead and fall, it wouldn't have hurt anything. But I kept trying to catch myself, and about 3 steps of trying to catch myself is when I collided with the door. So anyway, that's it, y'all. I know hopefully I can put enough concealer on this that people won't notice, because I can see someone looking at videos a year from now and saying, oh, what happened to your face? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and post this so y'all will know, and if you can, and we'll put the concealer on. See, that right there is just totally black, and I don't see that on this side, although my eyes are kind of darkened there anyway. But and that's not really that noticeable. Oh yeah, it is too. So anyway, I'm going to try putting concealer on it, and I'm going ahead and making a video. Now, I'm going to do one on cooking collards in the Instant Pot. I don't think I've done one of those. I got some really pretty collards at the grocery store the other day. So we're going to do that and just go ahead. And by the way, I was going to buy some of those frozen hamburger balls. Somebody had suggested that, and they talked about the sauce to go on them, because I had talked about putting that grape and barbecue sauce mix on those little smoky, little teeny hot dog things. And so someone wrote in and said I should try them with the frozen meatballs that you could get at the store. And I thought, well, that would be really easy. And they put them in the crock pot. Well, I'm not used to buying frozen hamburger balls, so I forgot them. And so when I got home, I thought, well, I'm just going to make my own. And that's what I did. They turned out fantastic. And I used the grape jam and the Kraft's original barbecue sauce. I did not use the crock pot because we wanted to eat right away. So I went ahead and fried out the little hamburger balls and or meatballs, and then went ahead and put them in another pot and put the grape jelly and the barbecue sauce in them, and we love them. Absolutely love them. So that looks like something we'll be having once a week even, maybe, until we get tired of them, I guess, because they were delicious. So anyway, we've got some leftovers, so we're going to have those today with the collards. And also I wanted to mention about the Chow Chow slaw. You all know I made that a week or so ago. Oh, it's been in the refrigerator. Of course, we've been eating it along, and it's about gone. But it is absolutely delicious. It almost seems like the longer it's in the refrigerator, the better it gets. It's just absolutely delicious. So we'll be having some of that too. All right, y'all, take another look. Pretty bad, right? Pretty bad. Yeah, this thing grew this morning. It was up here. It's grown today. But the doctor said that my body's trying to get rid of the blood, and it only has one way to go, and that's down. So, and of course my eye's in the way. Can y'all see my eyelid is about, let's see, about to right there now. So anyway, I'm fine. Still, the only thing I have is just when I bend my head way over, it kind of hurts right in there. Other than that, I'm fine. No problem sleeping. Everything's fine. All right, y'all. So we will see you on the next video, which should be in a little while. Bye for now.